welcome back friends, welcome back to the homestead, and the second part of this June tour will concentrate on looking on the main vegetable garden where we grow the majority of our vegetables that will sustain us for the coming year. So let's go straight into the garden and then I'll talk about what's going on. Okay, so here we are approaching the garden. We've got the main compost area, which admittedly looks a bit of a mess at the moment, although all this green stuff can be composted, which is good news. This is set to be redeveloped, too grand of a word, but maybe not. So the idea is, and I mentioned it before, is to have compost bays and maybe a bit more of a work area here. Just a project that's on my list and will get done eventually. The tarp has been pulled over. It used to be here, it's been pulled across so that we could get the potatoes in, the roof stout method potatoes, which are now under straw, and we will continue to pull the tarp across or down or up as we need it. We will need it because we've got a load of winter brassicas to get in the ground, which I showed you in the previous the front area tour video. So winners and losers, what's been going on? I mean, generally it's been a good year. If you remember, this time last year we just got back from a 2-week holiday in the UK and the garden hadn't really been looked after, so I'll find some footage from this time last year to make a comparison, which I think will be interesting for you and for me. As always, in this first bed we've got cut flowers and a little bit of parsley here at the front there. But we've got cornflowers, Roodsbook, I think in Latvian, limonies, which is sea lavender or status. Chrysanthemums, they're biannual, so they were here last year and they've survived the winter. Salzburgers, which is Helia, I think it's called. It's got a long Latin name, obviously. Teddy bear sunflowers, Rudbeckia, and some more mini sunflowers. Here's our lettuce, and you're thinking it looks perfect. Well, it does, and we've not had any chance to pick it because we had such a good harvest of the lettuce around the other side that we've not needed to take in from here yet, and it's nearly going to seed. But never mind, if it does, then it goes to the chickens and the chickens enjoy it, so it's not a problem. I mean, you've got Lollo Rosso, Bavaria, Lollo, not Rosso is red, Bavaria type butterhead. Apart from that one is a rogue, looks like a rogue seed in the packet. Little gem down here, nice tight heads, and they can be fried as a head, which is quite nice. So let's talk about the next few rows, which is brassicas. So on rotation, it's this year the brassicas come down this end. Been 2 disasters in the garden, 2 problems, big problems. One with the brassicas, they were planted, I need to find the exact date and I'll put it on the screen, but let's say a month ago, 6 weeks ago, and I hung on for as long as I could. They're really nice seedlings, really tall and strong. And as soon as they went in, the pests were on them, the ants were on them. Yes, ants attack brassicas. The flea beetles were on them, and the sun was beating down. We had an incredibly hot May, not a lot of rain, although we can irrigate. Irrigation wasn't so much of a problem, but you know, you can't stand over them all day and cool them down with water. And they took a hammering, and a lot of them didn't make it, and they shriveled up and got like this. You pull them out of the ground, there's nothing on the roots, and we lost quite a few, particularly from this bed, not so much from the other beds. But fortunately with the brassicas, I had a tray of mixed brassicas that I had kept back for someone else who then didn't want them, so I put them in here. That's why you've got a bit of mix. So you've got some small curly kale here in amongst some slightly better, certainly down that end, better. These are pointed cabbage. Should have been a whole bed of pointed cabbage. And so a few mixes, you know, there's a couple of Brussels sprouts down here that were left over, and blah blah blah. Calabrese, broccoli, with a few other bits mixed in. There's a couple there that might not make it. I'll leave them just in case. And then some more pointed cabbage. Those look okay up there. Here we've got Brussels sprouts. First year growing Brussels sprouts here. Obviously they're in for the long term. They won't be ready till October, November, December. Once probably the rest of the garden is covered in snow. So that's why they're down this end, closest to the gate, so we can come in, nip in and get them quickly. Tuscany kale at the top there, Black Magic that's called. A few of those suffered as well, and had a few replacements. Red ragged kale with a few holes you can see here. That's kind of come through now and is okay. You know, it's over the worst of it. The flea beaters have gone now. Yeah, I mean, I could have covered them in mesh, but honestly, it felt like you start down this end, and then by the time you've sown the transplants and they're up the other end, they've already, the bugs are on the other end eating them already. And the ants are relentless. Beetroot, looking good. I mean, everything else is probably, it's looking okay. It's looking good, as it should really. Just planted some swede, first batch, that not great germination, so I've got a second batch to go in to cover this space down here. Some courgette, which are wilting a bit in the sun, but they'll be okay. The bottom leaves you can see are okay. Golden eye beetroot, which is a favourite with us. Leaf beet, what's it called? Shard, rainbow shard, and some celery. This little area here is sown to dill, and I forgot to say, and you probably noticed, throughout all the brassica beds I've got leeks planted down the middle, interplanted leeks. So even if the brassicas were a complete disaster, at least I've got a crop in there which look okay. Only lost one or two of those. Elephant leeks, I think these are. They look considerably, or maybe those middle ones are a lot bigger than the others. I mean, the idea was this year really wanted to go for it and try and get every bed filled with something. And pretty much have done that. If there's not something in the bed now, it's waiting in the wings in the next few weeks. Strawberries, as you know, we're rotating strawberries in here now. Onions, I love to grow onions. As you maybe do or don't know, I think my speciality is alliums. I'm really pleased with how these have come up. These are sown from sets. Good number of leaves coming from each bulb, so it should be nice big onions, nice strong onions. Certainly looking okay, nicely. Obviously I keep everything weeded as best I can. Not because it's a showcase garden, but because weeds just affect the quality of the produce, I find. Others, you may differ, you may disagree, but I just think it looks better. It does look better, but it's also better for the plant. I will demonstrate at the top why I believe that to be true. I've got a good demonstration, so hold on for that. The only weeds, quote unquote, I let go are dill, because we use it in the kitchen, so wherever that props up I kind of leave it, and that's why the Americans call it dill weed, because it has a tendency to do that. And there are some of these herbs grow as well, which is not really, it's kind of like a wild, what would it be? Wild, it will come to me, it's not important. A wild herb of some sort. Oregano, I think it's wild oregano. Let's have a look up here. Carrots, 2 beds of carrots here. Obviously I need to keep that bed quite moist, because otherwise the carrot seeds won't germinate. They famously need constant moisture to germinate, and that's a problem in this sun. But there's my come on, Gary. They're not my oats, they're not my wheat. Barley, they're my barley. That's my barley. Looking good. These are pink onions here. They're okay, but they're not as good. Spinach, I didn't talk about the spinach was down there. I pointed the camera at it. Spinach, we've had 2 or 3 harvests off it. We'll get a 3rd or 4th, and then it'll go to seed. And we're already picking the tops off to stop it, try and hold it back. It doesn't like the heat of the summer. This is pretty much the only bed that is empty at the moment and nothing waiting. It was supposed to be parsnips, it didn't work out. We've got parsnips from last year, as you can see. If I swing back, there's a parsnip plant there, lone, which has gone to seed, and I've deliberately left that for seed saving. Parsnip seeds really need to be kept fresh year on year, really, so that's perfect for next year. You can see the cat has been having fun in the bed by the look of it. Broad beans, 4 rows this year. Used to do them in 3s, now do them in 4s. Looking good. A few holes thanks to the mole. No rhyme intended, but otherwise okay. Torkapulpus in Latvian. This bed probably be turnips later on. I've broad forked this, so I've been putting the fork in, lifted it gently, but not turned it over, just to get some air into the soil. It was a bit compacted. These are my seed onions. These are shallots. This is the second problem that I had, big problem. Spot the gap. Now, they were supposed to be Elisa Craig specimen onions, big ones. There's a few there, but that's actually 2 sowings. There's a few from before Christmas, and then a few after Christmas, and that's the main sowing after Christmas. All gone in, and most of them have died, and I don't know why. There's a few left on the edge here. Really strange. Was it 2 different batches of seeds? Something wrong with the seeds? I mean, they germinated okay. So I don't know, but we'll find something else to plant in there. I've got some other bigger onions. So I've got some Globo here. They're looking actually really nice, considering they're seed onions. Seed onions always grow slower than sets, because obviously sets are in their 2nd year. And then some Carmen red onions, some more Globo, 2nd sowing, and then some other Italian onions here, which all look good. These are multi-sown as well, so there's 2 or 3 in each hole. Up here, popcorn, 2 different sowings, but the second ones are catching up here. But they're looking really nice. Made sure there's plenty of fertility in the bed. Nice organic fertilizer. Popcorn is, you might think, a bit of a novelty to grow, but it stores well. It's a good source of carbohydrate if you need it in an emergency, and it's good to chomp on during films. Well, not necessarily for me in my diet, but nevertheless, good source of carbohydrates if you need it in an emergency. Sorghum, growing slower but still growing well. Nice colour on the leaves. We've got hemp, mostly for the birds, and we like to make some hemp butter. Sunflowers, just wanted to show you what I was talking about earlier with the weeds. Sunflowers all sown at the same time, 3 rows. Look at the 3rd row nearest the weeds, nearest to the border, where those weeds, the rhizomes of those weeds, are trying to get in, and they're obviously taking nutrients away from the sunflower, so it's slightly stunted. So that's the reason. Eventually we'll put a border down here, thick plastic border, to stop the weeds coming in, as we've done elsewhere. So yeah, good demonstration of why we need to weed, and how the weeds take over if you don't plant anything. So we'll get something in here. This bed is gherkins. I'm not sure about this one yet. I think, so this will be bush beans, which are almost ready to go in. Gherkins almost ready to go in as well, normally around midsummer. This should be later turnips. We've still got our post midsummer, Chinese cabbage, all those kind of things that go in later after summer. Here are squashes, winter squashes for keeping. The leaves look a bit, because they're in the sun, and they're only transplanted out about a few days ago. But you can see again the smaller leaves are okay. They should be okay. There's a little rumbling in the background, could be in for a thunderstorm. 2 different varieties here, butternut squashes really, long Naples, and I can't remember the other one. from halfway down this bed we've got peas sown, another sowing of peas. You've got tall peas, first succession, second succession, third succession, for storing. We're in this bed. They're ready to pick really. My daughter was out just a minute ago in between me filming. I took her to take a phone call. Second sowing of beetroots, again goldeneye and Bordeaux, I think. So yeah, these are looking good. It's starting to get some here, some thin ones for mange too. Some thicker ones in there for snacking on. We all like to snack on these. So that's about it. That's kind of what's going on in the garden. Most beds, like I say, most beds are spoken for, which is good to have every bed, something in every bed this time. Now, if you're still watching the video, thank you. What I meant to say was about the tarp. What's been really nice this year is we've, when it does rain, it creates little pools in the tarp. And that has attracted dragonfly for the first time into the garden. And the dragonfly come in and they snack, they eat, they're predatorial, and they eat the horseflies and mosquitoes and stuff like that. So when you're out in the garden, and deer flies, there is only the 1 or 2 flies. I've hardly been bitten out here, and it's lovely in the evening. And there's these, see the pollinators on these Welsh onions. I was going to get rid of these, but I think I'm going to keep them because they're the first thing that come up with flower, and it brings the pollinators in here. So yeah, we get these dragonflies, and you can't see them at the moment. I took a video last night, maybe you can see it. So it really makes me think of how when we get round to doing something with this area, we've got, I say, all those winter kind of cabbages to do. I need to leave space to have some kind of water features here, some small ponds or something to keep those, keep the ecology alive in here and keep those insects kept in here to keep the balance right. You know, the ecology within this garden. It was just an interesting observation, and you know, really, when you think about it, I shouldn't be surprised, but we didn't know when we put the tarp in that it would hold water in pockets, and that would be the result of it. So something to think about. Anyway, there is the state of play with the garden, vegetable garden, and I hope you enjoyed that tour. If you've got any questions, do leave them in the comments below. Do give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video at any point. That really helps us reach a great audience. And yeah, thanks for watching the video, and I will see you in another one very soon. If you're interested in what's happening in the rest of the house, then rest of the gardens and anything around the other side, then watch the other tour video and you can see all that. Anyway, bye for now, and I'll see you in another video very soon.